Time now for the day's business news. Stephen Carroll joins me. Let's start with an investigation into Russia's Gazprom, set to be announced by the European Union.
Yeah, that's right. The EU's competition commissioner will accuse the Russian gas company of abusing its dominant position in the European market. Gazprom has been under investigation by the EU for more than 2 years, but it's believed that this step was delayed until now because of the risk of further inflaming tensions with Moscow and possibly seeing supplies being cut off. It's the latest bold move taken by Commissioner Margrethe Vestager, as Belle Lupton now reports.
She's already taken on internet giant Google, but the EU's tough new competition commissioner has her sights set on the next target. This time, it's a case against Russia's Gazprom, Europe's biggest gas supplier. Brussels will accuse the Russian state-owned company of illegally abusing its dominant place in Europe's gas market by overcharging, restricting the resale of its gas and blocking rival gas suppliers. The case focuses on Gazprom's pricing policies, which the EU says differ between customers. Most affected by this are Eastern Europe's former Soviet countries: Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Hungary and Bulgaria. The investigation into Gazprom has been going on for more than 2 years, but with diplomatic relations already strained between Russia and the EU over the crisis in Ukraine, previous commissioners have held off, fearing a gas cut-off from Moscow in response. Gazprom supplies about a third of Europe's gas, and half of that goes through pipelines crossing Ukraine. The company will have 12 weeks to respond. If the charges are upheld, Brussels has the power to fine the Russian giant up to 10% of its $100 billion global turnover, and it could impose charges to Gazprom's business model.
Well, let's take a look next at what's happening on the markets. Things have just opened up here in Europe, and it's a positive start to the day on the European markets. Germany's DAX up over 1%, doing particularly well at the start of trading today. Just slightly less than, actually, I can tell you, in a couple of minutes after trading has started. In London, AB Foods, which owns the Primark clothing chain, is down over 3%. That's because of trouble with its sugar business, which is another part of the conglomerate group, and also some currency changes that have hurt their earnings. Over in Asia, in trading today, there was a rebound in the Chinese markets after the falls that we saw yesterday. The Shanghai Composite, as you can see, they're up over 1.4%, and the Hang Seng in Hong Kong doing even better at up over 2%. Now, this after record trading that we saw on the Chinese markets on Monday. Turnover at the Shanghai and Shenzhen exchanges topped 1 trillion yuan, or $160 billion for the first time. It's an impressive figure, but actually one that was too much for the market's operators' software to handle. The Shanghai Stock Exchange said it was unable to display the figure because of a software configuration issue. They're going to have to replace their software to make space for all the new zeros.
All right, Stephen, let's turn to Greece. A familiar story, on the hunt for much-needed cash.
Yes, exactly, and I'll have to go further than the back of the sofa to find it. This is talks with its international lenders don't seem to be going anywhere. The government's told all public agencies and local governments to move their funds to the central bank. Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras needs the cash to pay public sector salaries and pensions. A €770 million payment to the International Monetary Fund is also looming on May 12th. We'll take a look now at some of the day's other top business stories. And IBM has seen another fall in profits, partly due to the strong value of the dollar. Earnings at the company were down 2% in the first 3 months of the year to $2.3 billion. The firm has been trying to turn around its operations, selling its chip business last year to focus on cloud computing. Credit Suisse, meanwhile, saw its net income rise 23% in the first quarter of the year. The Swiss bank's results got a boost from its investment banking operations. This will be the last set of results presented by Chief Executive Brady Dugan. He'll be replaced by Tidjane Thiam in June. And the French carmaker Peugeot Citroën is to increase its production in Europe by 10%. The company says revived sales in Europe have allowed it to reach its strategic objectives earlier than expected. This comes just 3 years after the company cut 8,000 jobs in France and closed its factory at Aulnay-sous-Bois near Paris.
All right, Stephen, finally, could the selfie stick days be numbered?
Yeah, well, it's possible, apparently, even though you can find them pretty much everywhere, particularly in Paris at the moment. And this is down to an innovation from a company called LG Innotech. Now, they make the cameras that are used in iPhones and LG's G-series phones. They're developing a wide-angle lens. You can see it there that's going to go into smartphones. An engineer at the company telling the Wall Street Journal that the market could soon adapt and be able to take selfies without having to use a stick to do it. LG's new G4 phone will have a camera that can capture a viewing field that's 15% wider, which means that can feed at least one more person, I think, by my estimations, into your selfies, depending on how long your arms are.
Definitely good news for the selfie lovers out there. Thanks very much, Stephen, for the business news.